What is up, internet? This is an awesome book review. I'm so excited. This is gonna be fun. I hope you guys have fun. Thank you for all the support that you guys have been giving us. We have 99 very silent subscribers, but we still appreciate you guys. First, before we get started, I'm doing DeeDee Ramone's book. He is a fucking legend. Shout out to DeeDee Ramone. May he R.I.P. And this is for you. DeeDee, I fucking love you, bro. DeeDee, you're the I do punk rock because of you. Yes, I do punk rock because of DeeDee. Oh, the Ramones are so awesome. I love the Ramones. This book is excellent. I think I got this book for like $8. Again, I got all these books for like $8. All these books that we've been book reviewing, $8, and that's especially if you have Amazon Prime. Then it's definitely like $8, maybe $7. Who knows? Well, anyways, The Chelsea Horror Hotel by DeeDee Ramone. Everybody, I'm gonna do this again because it is a great book. It is a really good book. So, The Chelsea Hotel has a lot of rich history. One of the survivors of the Titanic stayed at the Chelsea. For just one example, shortly after she stayed at the hotel, she ended up hanging herself. Maybe she also R.I.P. as well. As far as information about the book itself goes, it is very hard to find any information other than the description on the back. Which I'm gonna, you know how we do. I'm gonna read the description. Alright, so, and this is a reissue. It says this is a reissue edition of the legendary, now they're stealing my words, of the legendary founding member of the Ramones, one and only horror novel, blurring the lines between semi-autobiographical reality and paranormal fiction. Published to coincide with the 40th anniversary of the band's groundbreaking debut album, with a new foreword by Joe Dante, horror icon and director of Gremlins, The Howling, and the Twilight Zone movie. DeeDee Ramone doesn't quite know what he's getting himself into when he and his wife Barbara move into the Chelsea Hotel with their dog Banfield. The room he's staying in might be the very room where his old friend Sid Sid allegedly stabbed Nancy. DeeDee spends most of the time trying to score drugs and walking Banfield, with whom he can magically communicate. Yeah, I can relate to that. I communicate with my dogs all the time, every day I'm talking to him. Most of his times try to score drugs. Meanwhile, he can't stand his neighbors, and though he shies away from violence, he wishes everyone were 6 feet under. I lost my spot. Everyone was 6 feet under. DeeDee gets involved with the transvestite lover of one of his gay fellow addicts. When Barbara finds out, things get out of hand, all the while DeeDee is tormented by the living and dead demons that plague the hotel, along with the ghost of his old dead punk rock friends, Sid Vicious, Johnny Thunders, and Steve Bators, the singer of the Dead Boys. Steve? Is it Steve Bators or Stiv Bators? That's weird. One of them punk rock names, man. And that's when the devil himself decides to join the party. And the reason why I found out about this book is through Mark Devlin's presentation that he did with Seed 4, the Seed 4 conference. I'll put a link to the Seed 4 conference in the description of this video because it's definitely worth checking out. And he mentions that this book was, you know, like I said, this was the reissue of edition. So a lot of the things about this book makes me think of Stanley Kubrick, because a lot of with the Stanley Kubrick's last movie, Eyes Wide Shut, it's the whole story behind that movie is that they cut off the ending of the movie. The movie is a lot shorter than what it's supposed to be, and we don't know the truth because we can't talk to Stanley, and we can't talk to any of those guys, so we really don't know what happened. And I think that's what happened to this book, especially with it being the reissue of the book. I feel like DeeDee died, and then they probably altered some of the things about the book and then reissued it. That's how I feel. But again, I haven't been able to find any research. I looked far and wide. I turned over every stone. I could not find any information about this book. I watched interviews of Barbara. interviews of DeeDee. There's like nothing about this book. It's really bizarre. The reviews of this book are, and they're completely polarized, just like the book review that we did of The Unveiling by Dennis Gilmore. People either really love this book or they are totally disgusted by it. which is part of the reason why I love this book, because that's, you know, like people think of The Matrix like that. The Matrix, either people really love The Matrix or they think it's just a laughingstock horrible film. And also, to relate that with punk rock, that's been my impression of punk rock, because I've been playing punk rock for years. I've been listening to punk rock for years, going to punk rock shows. That's what people's impression of that genre of music. They either really, really love it, and the fans are really passionate about it, or people who, I want to say normies, they look at punk rock like it's really disgusting and raunchy and like obnoxious, which that is what punk rock is, but that's not only what punk rock is about, if that makes sense. The way I explained that did not, it was horrible. Yeah, so like what I was saying, I started off as a roadie for Blues and Corduroys, going on tour with them, and then that led me to the Bare Knuckle Hooligans. I was a roadie for the Bare Knuckle Hooligans before I joined the band as a bassist. Carried their equipment for a while, and shortly before playing bass for the Hooligans, I started playing solo shows with the Dead and Sarah songs. So if you guys follow the channel, if you're true fans of the channel, you know that I play music. I play punk rock. I love punk rock. I'm gonna take a drink just for DeeDee again, actually. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. So when playing Dead and Sarah songs, people either love it and they say it is the epitome of punk rock, or they absolutely hate the music and me. Like, they take it super personally. One bartender in Marion, Indiana, I played a show at this racist bar. As far as I know, the bar got new owners, and they don't seem to be racist anymore, but they're also not having Team Unity shows there anymore, which I think is total BS. But that's a whole nother rabbit hole. So yeah, there's a bartender in Marion, Indiana, that even she told the sound guy that the sound guy should have shut the mic off as soon as I got done playing the first song. So, you know, punk rock gets you very interesting reactions with people, interesting interactions with people. But people's reactions are one of the many things that have always intrigued me about punk rock. And something awesome worth mentioning is that DeeDee painted this cover himself, and actually there's paintings throughout the entire book that I mean, I love that. I just get a good look at that. He did a lot of basically all of the paintings in the book, I would say, that DeeDee did, and that's just even more legendary. I mean, it's freaking awesome. I love that. My impression of this book is that we're meant to laugh at it. You know, that's my impression of punk rock too. Life is too short. We're supposed to laugh. We can still laugh and have a good time, you know, but people are so serious people get so serious all the time. Like me and Matt Bennett always talk about that. People are so serious. And DeeDee always had a dark sense of humor, which is part of the reason why I love him. His sense of humor it just cracks me up, and you can tell when you read the book. So in the book's opening, we meet our main character DeeDee and his dog Banfield. They both witness a bum being took to the hospital due to the Ramone calling an ambulance. So that was he. In the book, I read the description. He says he wants to see people 6 feet under and he hates everybody, but then he does actions like this. He saw this bum and passed out. Everybody thought he was dead, or at least everybody kept walking past him, because you know how people, if you've ever been to a big city, people usually ignore bums, which it kind of makes me angry. But so DeeDee thinks that this bum is like dead or passed out, or he definitely needs help, so DeeDee calls the ambulance. And the ambulance ends up picking him up, and DeeDee he slips him a $20 bill, and DeeDee he's talking to the inner dialogue, and he's like, I know he's probably gonna spend that money on alcohol, but I don't care. I'm just trying to help him out and show him that the world isn't as cruel as he might think it is. So, we meet our main character, Dog Banfield. The second chapter starts off with a stranger bleeding profusely all over the lobby of the Chelsea Hotel. Banfield panics at all the blood and he gets loose, so then DeeDee ends up chasing his dog around the hotel. It's kind of funny, like, as an outsider, if you don't read this book, you might think, like, that sounds horrible, but it's the way that DeeDee writes it, it's actually really hilarious. And here's our first quote. The freak also tried to write my name with blood, spraying from a bat crack on the top of his head. That's page 13. So chapter 3, we learn that our man's DeeDee stays in room 117, and he often wonders if the room, if it's the same room as Sid Vicious. Sid Vicious was the alleged, again, alleged, key word there, alleged murder of Nancy Spungen. Spungen's body was found under the washing basin in the bathroom of room number 100 at the Chelsea. The owners split the room in half and changed the numbers to avoid a shrine of worshippers, because you know how fanboys are, fangirls are. You know, like think of Disney adults, for example, they just absolutely lose their mind. Late one night, while Dee was trying to score, he runs into two robed freaks, and this isn't I wrote down two robed freaks, but this is how DeeDee looks at him. He's like, there's two robed freaks, and their faces are covered. They ask the Ramone to sign a Bible that has a cross, and all of the literature in the Bible is blacked out. So DeeDee literally refuses. He gives the Bible back to him. It's an awesome scene. And again, DeeDee is such a legend. He sees the Bible, he opens it up, and he's like, no, I refuse to sign this. So then we learn of a neighbor who is referred to as Creepy Joe, who keeps the TV at a deafening volume while he screams random crap at the top of his lungs. If anybody who's lived with any sort of alcoholic, you can definitely relate to that. Like, I lived with an alcoholic. I lived with my dad, and he would just listen to loud-ass music, just blaring it, just constantly talking to himself, constantly cussing random obscenities, you know, like some schizo stuff, basically, some schizo stuff. Yeah, and it's not fun having a neighbor like that. So things aren't as rosy as they appear to be under the surface. At the Chelsea Hotel, there's even satanic coven meetings held regularly in the basement. Terrific, right? I mean, this place is the Chelsea Hotel is just littered with fantastic people, right? And then, meetings held regularly in the basement, terrific. They are made up of surviving members of the 60s LSD militant satanic miracle groups. Page 35. That's a direct quote from the book. That made me think of the previous book review we did called Musical Truth. So Musical Truth gets into that, and Esoteric Hollywood, a book that is on the list of book reviews, that is also a book that gets into LSD and how the military, LSD was invented by the military. I don't know if you guys know that. Invented by the CIA. That's where LSD came from. If you don't know that, now you know. Do some research, because it's definitely worth paying attention to. So, yeah, the surviving members of the 60s LSD militant. I love that he put, this is a direct quote, I love that he put LSD militant satanic miracle groups. and that was going on, you know, part of the satanic panic. You just gotta pay attention. The cult that performs the rituals are known as the Skulls, Skulls. I bet that's a Misfits reference. Or it could also be a reference to the, what is it? What's that group that George Bush was a part of? They're at Harvard University, the Skull... Why am I brain farting? Do you know... There's like... A lot of politicians join this group in Harvard. I should not be brain farting this. The skull.
Scoliosis.
No. Some of that weird group that all the rich people joined. George Bush was in the skull. You can't look it up. I don't know. It's crazy around here. I'm brain farting because all the distractions. So, chapter 6 is truly a horrifying chapter. First, DeeDee dreams of finding Nancy's head bleeding from the eye sockets. He wakes up to see a ghost floating around his apartment and causing a ruckus. Just being nuts! This ghost, this apparition is floating around DeeDee's apartment, just being crazy. Again, it's a very interesting scene. So, and then Banfield ends up talking to Dee, comforting him enough to fall asleep after the apparition leaves. DeeDee talks to his dog, and his dog is like, "Hey man, everything's okay, just fall asleep, you know." It's it's very bizarre. Again, in my opinion, it's meant to be laughed at. This book is meant to be funny. I feel like a lot of people who did book reviews on like the Amazon page, I read some of the book reviews, you know, again, people just take some things just way too seriously. So, I skipped a couple chapters. Chapter 10, DeeDee, Banfield, and Babs, they all decide, after what's going on with their loud neighbor, who's screaming obscenities, and he's like a schizo, and he's constantly, all hours of the night, he's like, mother, so he's cussing at the TV, you know how they do it. Those people who cuss at the TV, a lot of people who voted Trump cuss at the TV a lot, because a lot of people who voted Trump still watch sports. Those Trumpers, man, they love them sports and their Bud Light, am I right? Okay, so they moved to room 631, which was the room of Valley Myers. Valley Myers is a very interesting character. I went down a rabbit hole of research looking up Valley Myers. Very interesting character. Dee constantly repeats that he thinks Valley is a witch, and after doing a I wrote in my notes, I did a minuscule amount of research. Oh, excuse me. I might agree that she might be a witch. I mean, interesting character. Again, like I said, the Chelsea Hotel has a lot of fascinating history about it. Like the chick who survived the Titanic ended up moving there, and then this Valley Myers character, she's a really, like, I don't know, a weirdo. I think she's a weird. So before they move in, the previous resident Bambi painted their private parts on the door of the bathroom, and this creates an argument between the Ramone and his missus. So Dee he gets pissed off. He just kicks the door down and walks the door down to the garbage basement with his trusty steed Banfield. I love Banfield, man. Shout out to Banfield. He's a true OG. This book is littered with golden Easter eggs. For example, chapter 12 is titled Chinese Rock. So if you're into punk rock, you know about that Chinese rock. You know what I'm saying? It's a Ramone song, by the way. If you don't know, it's a great Ramone song. A hilarious scene ensues where he gets deli belly. That's a term I never heard before, deli belly. I'm sure if I asked Uncle Charlie, what deli belly was, because Uncle Charlie's from New York, he's got that New York accent, you know. I miss Uncle Charlie. Shout out to Uncle Charlie. So he gets deli belly, and it's an emergency. So DeeDee, he ends up stiff-arming all the people that are in his way because he's like walking with Banfield in the streets of New York, and he gets deli belly. It's an emergency, so he stiff-arms all the commuters and punches an old lady in the face, and that made me it reminded me of Seinfeld when Jerry Seinfeld tried to get the rye bread from the poor old retired lady, man. That she didn't deserve what happened. Jerry, you're a POS for what you did to get that rye bread, bro. Here's another direct quote. The place was amuck with perverts. The commuters seemed Victorian compared to the suede-head population that inhabit Chelsea. You wouldn't want anyone to catch you in there. The smell was horrendous. An aborted fetus protruded from one of the toilets. When I looked around the men's room to see what was up, I caught my reflection in the mirror and saw a skull on my face. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a treat here today. So I sticky note one of the illustrations that DeeDee did when he saw the skull. His face was a skull in the mirror. I thought it was really awesome. I hope it focuses in there. Like, I loved it. I love part of the reason why I love punk rock is because the simplicity of it. And I just, I want this hanging up in my bedroom. I think it's just an awesome painting. So, yeah, the simplicity of it, and I think that's, his art is so simple. It's fucking awesome. I love it. Oh, no, I said an F-bomb. Oh, no, I said an F-bomb. So, moving on. So, this book is so cheap. You can get it. Before I keep going on, read the book. It is so worth it. You get art. You get little art doodles. You get artwork of the late great legendary DeeDee. It's awesome. And there's actually there's an interview on YouTube of DeeDee's wife Barbara, where Barbara's outside of a New York art gallery, and it's just an awesome interview. I'll put it in the link of this description. So I skipped a few chapters, especially since Dee may or may not participate in an action that may or may not be an immoral action, but I ain't no snitch, okay? Especially when it comes to Ramone. So we'll just skip a few chapters. I didn't see nothing. I got an alibi. Like I said, I didn't see I didn't see nothing. Chapter 16 is synchronistically titled Henry's Damn Dogs, which made me crack up. Dee and his trusty steed Banfield take the elevator up to get home after an exhausting day, but runs into Henry's, let me do the echo, Henry's Damn Dogs. Which is two vicious Dobermans, Wally and Ava. Ava? Is it Eva? Yeah, no, Wally and Ava. The dogs attack our friends, and in an act of self-defense, DeeDee and Banfield bring their KDR, their kill-death ratio, up to 1.0. If you... the gamers know what I'm talking about, am I right? So they bring their KDR up to 1.0, and again, self-defense is the oldest principle in the world, and it is the most important principle in the world. So if you don't know about the right of self-defense, you need to study Mark Passio, you need to go over to One Great Work Network, and you need to do some research. You need to do some work if you don't know that self-defense is one of the oldest principles. So, goes to a kill-death ratio goes to a solid 1.0. DeeDee gets a shank. He gets a shank with his 007 knife, and Banfield bites the other dog, dog meat style. Again, that's for the gamers. If you play Fallout 4, you know who dog meat is. So the whole chapter is morbidly hilarious, but they make it back to the room safely. But they're absolutely covered in head to toe in blood. Dogfield's covered in blood. DeeDee is covered in blood. Jerry, the hotel's co-manager, also has his art tourist tours that come to my doorstep with their video cameras to look at old Valley Myers paintings. So it is not fair when they charge artists such high rent and then make money off of them using the situation for publicity for the hotel's benefit. This really bothers me. I was completely lost in anger and extreme hostility when I got to the room. Page 117. So that reminds me of that quote just reminded me of Matt Bennett, the very legendary Matt Bennett. Matt Bennett, everybody. Matt Bennett, I am a co-host, so in 2023 I became a co-host of Matt Bennett's podcast, Crazy Life Stories, every Sunday we record a new episode for Crazy Life Stories, and it's usually uploaded Monday morning really early. I'm talking like 4 in the morning, sometimes 7 in the morning on Monday. So check it out. Matt is an absolute legend. We interview him on our channel. In fact, he was the very first legend on our channel that we ever interviewed. So go back and check that interview out. Shout out to Matt. I love you, Matt. I miss you. I can't wait to hang out with you in 3 dimensions. Hopefully here soon, but I know we're definitely going to be hanging out in April because we got our birthday show coming up. Birthday punk rock show coming up. It's me and Jasmine's birthday. It'll be on April 19th, which is Jasmine's real birthday. My birthday is on April 17th. We got Shitizen coming into town. We got Acton's Dictums coming into town. I believe the Foleys are playing. Dead and on Sarah's playing. And then we also have another awesome legendary band from Ohio that I've been listening to all their music. I've been getting their lyrics down, which is what you should be doing too. Alex Kasznel and the board of directors from Ohio are coming to Elkhart. They kill it. Their songs are epic. I love their songs. Alex Kasznel and the board of directors, shout out. We got some punk rock coming if you're in the northern Indiana area. Come out to Michiana Education and Arts Club. But, sorry for the tangent, we're going to go back to the book. But again, shout out to DeeDee. I'm going to be a little tipsy by the time we get done recording this one. So, before I go any further, there are big spoilers ahead. Big spoiler alert. So, you know how we do. I'm going to do our spoiler alert song. So if you haven't read the book and you're still here, you're kind of a turd Ferguson, but hopefully you go buy the book and read this because it is awesome. Like it is 10 out of 10. One of my favorite books I've ever read. So, spoilers. Yep. Chapter 3 is where the book enters the trippy punk rock psychedelia area. It gets really psychedelic. At this point, Dee has already been talking to Sid Vicious while DeeDee is puking in the bathroom that we previously mentioned. DeeDee actually talks to Sid Vicious. He appears as a zombified apparition. Among other things, Barbara kills another junkie in the hotel with her husband Dee. It's a really gruesome scene too. I'm not gonna give you too much away because I want you to read this book. But yeah, it's a really gruesome scene, but it ends really romantically. Barbara and DeeDee end up. It seems like they make love at the end of the chapter after murdering a junkie. So during this scene filled with saucy romance, Dee gets a shard of glass in his eyeball, causing him to fall down the stairs into the maid who works at the hotel, Diana. Diana uses 1 bucket of mop water to clean the entire hotel, which the hotel is like, I don't know exactly how many floors, but it's over 10 floors at this hotel. So she uses one bucket of mop water to clean all like 13, 14 floors of the hotel. And while he's got this glass shard in his eye, he's like falling down the stairs. The mop bucket was filled with blood, piss, and cigarette butts. He bumped into Diana while falling down the stairs. He's got this glass shard in his eye. The mop bucket just goes up into the air, goes all over DeeDee's face, and then the steel mop bucket takes a chunk out of DeeDee's skull, because back in the day, you know, mop buckets weren't plastic for the longest time. Again, it's another extremely gruesome scene, but there's a part of it that's morbidly hilarious. So the Ramone grows. After he gets hit in the head with the steel bucket, the Ramone grows horns and begs God not to let him die like this in the disgusting basement of the Chelsea Hotel. Making it back to the basement with Fernando, the trash man, the skulls are performing a satanic ritual. A man is chained to the bathtub with a bottle of alcohol hanging over the tub, and the bottle of alcohol is like, it's hung like a noose. So the neck of the bottle is that's what the rope is hanging on to. So he's in a bathtub. with a bottle of alcohol hanging over the tub, and piranhas are eating this man alive. So here's a funny quote. Angrily, I said to Jerry and Johnny Thunders, "Too bad Joe wasn't queer, because you guys sure look hungry." And that, again, like I said, this book is littered with Easter eggs. I really think that was an Easter egg to the queers, because, you know, it said, "Too bad Joe wasn't queer," and the singer of the Queers, his name is Joe Queer. So shout out to the Queers, man. I love the Queers. They're awesome. So, like I said, I don't want to give too much away. I feel like this book is along the lines of The Unveiling by Dennis Gilmore, the previous book review we've done. And I feel like not a whole lot of people have read this book. So next time when we're going to re-review all of the book reviews we've done, and I will give more information to you guys. But until then, buy this book and read it, because it is an awesome book. And as you can see, we have a new Guy Wan. We ordered some tea from Jesse's Tea House. He's an awesome YouTuber that I've recently discovered. Shout out to Jesse's Tea House. And so I guess we'll start wrapping it up there. I got some merch from the previous show, the Absentees. I got the pleasure, Dead and on Sarah, since we're talking about punk rock, I got the pleasure to open up for the Absentees from I think they're from Michigan. Oh, it doesn't say. 2011 Wave Cave Recordings. All songs recorded, mixed, and mastered at Woodshed Studios by Ed Sertage, produced and engineered by Mike Cooper. So these guys were awesome, man. Give these guys some love. Absentees. They gave me some stickers. They didn't give me. I bought some stickers because they needed some gas money, you know. Steve's in the band. We've posted some music videos. Steve's in the van. Steve's in the van. Steve's in the band. We posted some music videos of these guys. Absentees. Steve's in the band. The Foleys. I got a Foley's guitar pick that I stole. Right here. Oh yeah. So this Saturday, look for the next video that's coming up. This Saturday we get our tea delivered Friday. So we're gonna do an unboxing video of Jesse's Tea House, because it is a really I mean, his YouTube channel's been getting a lot of attention recently, but I think it deserves way more attention. His channel is so good. The content he creates is fantastic. He encouraged us to buy this guy Juan here. We're gonna start getting into tea. We got some jasmine white snow tea coming in from one of his boxes. He just does great content. It's awesome. And the camera girl, it must be gossiping in another bedroom, because so yeah, we got this guy Juan. We got tea. We're gonna be posting some tea videos. We're gonna be posting some more music videos. There's a metal night coming up at MEAC. Shout out to MEAC. We support their channel. Michiana Education and Arts Club now has their own YouTube channel, and their YouTube channel is split footage between Beagle Eye Vision's videos and also their own videos. You got anything to say?
No.
When are you gonna read this book? What book are you reading now? You're reading The Prophet?
Yeah.
Have you learned anything, Gamer Girl?
A little bit.
The Prophet is, again, that's another great book. It's on the list of book reviews. What's the next book review, Jasmine? What do you should I do Esoteric Hollywood or The Biology of Belief? Or for a fun book review, I could do that the Japanese Hubler book. It's a fiction book, but
Let's do a Japanese one.
do the Japanese one. We got these. This is Chinese. Guy Wan is Chinese, and Jesse's Tea House is all about Chinese. But hey, Japan does tea as well too. Yeah. I hope you guys made it this far. Hope it was entertaining. Shout out to the Absentees. Steve's in the band. Go check out Crazy Life Stories. We will be recording another episode here this Sunday. And don't forget, if you're in the Northern Indiana area, me and Camera Girl's birthdays are coming up. We got, again, I know I already said it, but Citizen, legendary. Acton's Dictums, legendary. Alex Kasznel and the board of directors legendary. And then the Foleys are playing that one? The Foleys? Hi, Mom. The Foleys are on that one?
Yeah.
For our birthday?
Yeah.
Really?
For sure, yeah. Or there's Distractions? No.
I can't remember. I don't know. Go buy this book. Read books. Dang it. Read books. Are you guys reading books? Put it in the comments below. If you're reading books, what book are you reading? It doesn't have to be this one. Just any book. It's better than Netflix. Go read some books. Read!